Remember, Jordan offered to swap prisoner for prisoner, their pilot for the would-be suicide bomber woman, ISIS hero. We know that Jordan was willing to do this swap because Jordan said that they were willing to do this swap, but at the State Department yesterday, there seemed to be some sort of news blackout or something. Look at this exchange with Jen Psaki.
I was just a little confused by your continued reference to the range of reports. I mean, it seems like the Jordanian government has pretty clearly stated its intention to swap the prisoners. I mean, is that, in your view, still unclear? Or?
Well, I think, Elliot, I don't think I have to spell out for you the range of reports out there. I'll encourage you to Google when you get back to your desk.
Well, we did, of course, and that was right, of course. And Jen Psaki is with us live. What's with the Google it thing, Jen?
Well, Shep, we were just having a light moment. Elliot and I have a great working relationship.
Oh, I know, but the State Department doesn't want to say that.
Shep,
I know, but let's get to the heart of it.
Well, let me continue. Shep, what I was referring to is the fact that, as you know, there is a Jordanian hostage, there's a Japanese hostage, there are American hostages. There is a lot at stake here, lives at stake. This is a very sensitive situation. So we've been very careful not to confirm or add information to the reports while this has been ongoing.
Jordan has offered to swap a prisoner. Our policy is you don't prisoner swap with a terrorist organization. The question was, would the State Department weigh in on this? Hey, Jordan, don't do this, or hey, Jordan, go ahead, or we're staying out of your business. If it's one of the three, it sounds like the latter. We're staying out of your business. Is that it?
Well, we have a range of conversations with Jordan. I think everybody knows, unfortunately, what the position of the United States is on terrorists and negotiating with terrorists. Because well, unfortunately, in the sense that we've had American citizens who have been beheaded. And
so by unfortunately, do you mean that our policy is wrong, that we should consider it?
No, Shep, I'm asking. Shep, what I was saying is that obviously it's unfortunate that we've had to talk about this so much because of American hostages being beheaded. I think we all agree on that.
Of course.
We're having discussions with Jordan. We're having discussions with Japan. I'm not going to outline those publicly, given this is a fluid and sensitive situation. I think everybody wants to do what we can to preserve the lives at stake.
But it would be weird if our policy is don't swap hostages and we were going along with telling Jordan it's okay to swap hostages. We're doing one of three things. We're either saying, no, Jordan, don't do that. Yes, Jordan, go ahead and do that. Or, Jordan, we're staying out of that. And I'm curious which one it is.
Well, our policy, Shep, is not as simple as you just outlined it. We don't make concessions to terrorists. As you know, and you've been discussing on your program, we also don't leave men and women, our service men and women, behind. That's long been our policy. That's why we took steps to bring Sergeant Bergdahl home.
So this is a gray area.
Jordan is a sovereign country. These are unfortunately complicated issues, but we're just not going to weigh into our private conversations right now while this situation is ongoing.
All right. Is there any proof of life of this hostage anywhere?
I don't have any more information on that, Shep, than you or the Jordanians have.
So right now we don't really know what's up, except we're led to believe we should expect some sort of statement from ISIS. Is that right?
That's what we've seen in the reports. We don't have more information other than that.
We're their main ally in this thing, Jordan. And usually, so what you're saying is we've given them advice on this matter. It's just none of our business at the moment, which would be fine. I'm just trying to get clarity.
Not exactly. That we have discussions with Jordan, as anyone would expect. They're our partner. They're our ally. We work with them on a range of issues. But I'm just not going to discuss those publicly out of respect for them, out of respect for the process and the lives at stake.
If we were to have a hostage like this, if one of our, let's say, pilots had been taken hostage by ISIS, the stated policy of the United States is no matter what, we don't trade prisoner for prisoner with terrorist organizations, right?
Well, our policy is we don't leave our servicemen and women behind. We obviously use every diplomatic, military tool to address that. I'm not going to address the hypothetical, but you've seen us do rescue operations. You've seen us do negotiations when we can. So I hope we don't have to deal with that unfortunate situation.
What's the feeling on this bill that's being introduced on the Hill to go ahead and declare war on ISIS? To go ahead and make it something sanctioned by the Congress, something the president says he doesn't really need, but that he would like to have. But then also have in that bill, but we will not put any ground forces in there. What's the feeling of that at the State Department, if there is one?
Well, as you know, there have been a couple different proposals out there, and this has been a discussion that the administration's been having with Congress. And you're right, the president and we don't feel we need it, but it's always great to be walking arm in arm when you have the support of Congress, to have an AUMF that backs up our actions. We still have the 2001 AUMF that we're acting with that on behalf. But look, the secretary went up a couple of weeks ago to the Hill and outlined some of our specific requirements or what we'd like to see. We're having those discussions with the Hill, and I expect those will continue until hopefully we come to a conclusion.
Jen, the former leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev of Tear Down This Wall fame, reportedly says that the crisis in Ukraine could lead to an all-out war between Russia and Western nations, including the United States. According to the Russian news agency Interfax, Gorbachev said, and I quote, "I can no longer say that this Cold War will not lead to a hot war. I fear that they could risk it." Gorbachev is reportedly accusing the West of dragging Russia into a new Cold War. What do you think of that?
Well, I think Russia has built their own, made their own bed here by taking the illegal actions and the aggressive actions they have in Ukraine. Our goal is not to isolate Russia. Our goal is to see an end to this detrimental and illegal behavior. That's why we've continued to put sanctions in place. But we continue to work with Russia on a range of issues, whether it's Iran, we continue to discuss Syria with Russia, the tensions in the Middle East. So this is an issue where Russia and President Putin has a choice. They can pull back, they can de-escalate, and then we'll take actions corresponding to that on the sanctions.
Yeah, when the last sanctions came and the actions came and you know, his economy's collapsing, the ruble's worth nothing, oil is collapsing, all that. I mean, he's in a world of hurt, and yet he goes into the east of Ukraine to try to create this land bridge down to his new Crimea, and you wonder what's going to stop this guy. I mean, it's not as if the collective wisdom is that he has a plan here. Just he's going off sort of haphazardly, and I wonder the degree to which there's concern at the State Department that this guy might go nuts on us.
Well, we don't know that that's the case. I think there's no question, as you said, that the economic sanctions we've put in place have had a huge impact on the Russian economy. As the leader of Russia, he has a choice to make. Does he want to continue to see the economy spiral downward, or does he want to make changes to change the sanctions policy? How will this impact his behavior? He's signed, the Russians and Russian-backed separatists have signed the Minsk protocols. The question is when they're going to take actions to back it up. If they don't, there'll be more consequences.
Jen Psaki at the State Department, great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks. Great to see you, too.
Thanks, folks.